Mr. President, you are president of the country, president of Nigeria, commander-in-chief of our armed forces. And as president, whether we like it or not, you are father to the country, the entire 200 plus million people of Nigeria. So, what kind of father do you want to be? The good father, the bad father, or the ugly father? My Bible tells me that a father who cannot provide for his own household is worse than an infidel. He should not even bother calling himself a believer. So I ask you, as father to the over 200 million Nigerians, how do you sleep at night, knowing fully well that 133 million children, people, citizens of Nigeria go to bed hungry? They go to bed without food. How do you sleep? How do you feel about this? What does this make you? A good father, a bad father, or an ugly father? You have a choice to decide the kind of father you want to be to Nigerians. There are avenues that are available to you to be a good father, a father that can provide for his own house. At least one free meal every day for every Nigerian. Every day, constitutionally guaranteed. This is why I have attached a draft bill, the Free Food and Social Welfare Law. It is attached in the description of this video. Free Food and Social Welfare Law. This law will guarantee at least one free food, one free meal every day for every citizen of Nigeria that cannot feed themselves, that are jobless, that are unable to work and fend for themselves. This bill guarantees at least one free food, one free meal for them every year, with the modalities included. I want to urge you that you go through this bill, get your team to go through it, and send it as an executive bill to the National Assembly. Let them pass it so that the sufferings of Nigerians can be ameliorated, can be abated, so that Nigerians who cannot feed themselves can have at least one free meal every day. This is very doable, and it will mean well for Nigerians and for you if you choose to do this very noble task. Like I said before, the bill is attached in the description to this video. Go through it and decide which kind of father to Nigeria do you want to be. Let's take a look at why Nigeria today needs this free food and social welfare law. Why do we need it? Is it necessary at all? Do we have the money to fund it? Will it increase inflation? These are valid questions, but to answer them, we need to first of all answer this very critical one. Why do we need a free food stamp and social welfare law in 2024 for Nigeria? Now, here is why. Number one, as long as we have politicians being in charge of the welfare and indeed security of the average Nigerian out there, as long as they are the ones in charge, Nigeria will continue to be broke and poor because the system as it is now will continue to perpetuate itself. How do I mean? See, right now, the average Nigerian is poor. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, not my statistics, official government statistics, 133 million Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. Extreme poverty, multi-dimensional poverty, meaning most of the time they go to bed hungry, they cannot eat. So these people are poor and broke and hungry, 133 million of it. The number is higher, but let's work with the official figures. 133 million of such Nigerians in multi-dimensional poverty because the money that is meant for Nigeria as a whole to develop, for Nigeria to work for every Nigerian, that money is stolen by a few corrupt politicians that force themselves on us as leaders. It does not end there. These corrupt politicians now weaponize this poverty for these extremely poor Nigerians. How do they do it? They hold on to those money. And because the poor Nigerians are hungry, they begin to use the money they have stolen as bait to make these hungry Nigerians do their bidding. And like I will always say, a hungry man is a senseless man. I won't blame a man who sells his vote for 1,000 naira, for 5,000 naira, because he is looking for food to feed his family. You won't know the pain a father feels when he cannot provide for his own home. The pain a person feels when he knows that he has taken a loan from a microfinance bank but does not have the means to pay back. And he's made to take that loan because he's broke and extremely poor. That man will do anything, including lick the boot of corrupt politicians, lick the behind of corrupt politicians, if only it means a momentary respite from the hardship that these same corrupt politicians have thrown upon him. So as long as we have these extreme poor Nigerians, Nigeria will always continue to suffer from the corruption of these greedy politicians. How do we get out of it? We need a country that works for all. This is not a socialist solution. We are talking about a solution that takes care of the most vulnerable amongst us, and it is not new. If you're talking capitalist or talking capitalism, the number one capitalist country in the world today is the United States of America. Yes, and then you talk of Europe and Australia and others follow suit. Do you know that the United States of America have over 64 programs to take care of people who are jobless? They have unemployment benefits. They have programs that provide free food for citizens of the United States of America that cannot feed themselves. They have all manner of programs, disaster relief programs, backed by law, so that it is the government that is responsible for the welfare of these extremely poor United States citizens, not individuals. Individuals may choose to contribute, but majorly it is the government that takes care of the welfare of these citizens of the United States of America. So it also in Europe. So if America, that is a capitalist country, have social welfare laws in place to guarantee that government takes care of the most vulnerable in their country, what about, then why will a mixed economic country like Nigeria, in fact, look at our constitution, we are more socialist, but let's even say what we call ourselves, mixed economy. Why will a mixed economic country like Nigeria not have a single social welfare program that is backed by law, not the one that is born out of the whims and caprices of leaders that are not backed by law? And such programs are then prone to the corruption of the system, because we see those so-called conditional cash transfers, we hear of them. They become things that we Nigerians call audio money. This free food and social welfare law is different. It's going to be a program that is backed by law. A program that is backed by law. Let's leave it at that. So this is why we need to enact this social free food and social welfare law in Nigeria. The starting point for fixing Nigeria, to make sure that Nigeria works for everybody, the starting point is the enactment of this law. It is not prayer. I know you have screamed and you have received blessings for the year. Thank God for your life. I believe that God will bring such blessings to pass. But let me announce to you that no matter the prophetic declarations that you have received, the general population of Nigeria, the average Nigerian, will work or live in extreme poverty and hunger in 2024 under the Tinubu administration if this law is not enacted. There's a place for prayer, but there's a place for action. And the action that every Nigerian out there must take this year, 2024, that action is to support openly and join this campaign to make sure that the National Assembly passes this law and the president signs it into assent to it, so that it becomes a law that guarantees free food and social welfare support, unemployment benefit for every Nigerian that is hungry. So they do not need to depend on the largesse, the tertiary, the small money that corrupt politicians will give to them, monies that these corrupt politicians have stolen. This is the starting point. And so God help us, let us do it. This is not a time for us to allow ourselves to be divided along religious lines. No. This is the time for us to unite and make sure we have a country that works for everybody. Number 2 reason why this free food and social welfare law is compulsory for Nigeria going forward in 2024. The second reason is this. The way the law is structured, it is going to revolutionize our agricultural sector, because the social welfare, the free food stamp and social welfare law is designed in such a way to incentivize people to engage in agriculture. So the money stays within the system. The free food law or the free food stamp and social welfare law, it is not going to be a law that gives money to people that they are going to spend on goods that are imported. No, the free food and social welfare law will provide money for free food to people that can only be spent on foods that are grown within the country. That way, the money stays within the country. It is not going to be like the so-called investments that Tinubu's administration is planning to spend on agriculture, because the average investment in agriculture actually goes out of the country. Yes, how does it go out of the country? When the government, when Tinubu spends 100 billion on providing tractors to farmers, that 100 billion actually goes to create unemployment in Nigeria, because that money goes to either China or Japan or in Europe or in America to get those tractors in. But what we are going to do, or what this free food stamp and social welfare law will do, is that it will activate our national technology incubation centers. It will activate DICON, companies like that can manufacture things, that can fabricate things, to fabricate the tools and the implements that we need for agriculture. And so whatever monies that we give to people on the platform or on the basis of the free food and social welfare law, that money goes to actually growing the economy. It will actually reduce inflation. And that is the number 3 reason why we must support this free food stamp and social welfare law. It will reduce inflation. Inflation has been on the skyrocketing trajectory since Tinubu came into power. But with this free food and social welfare law, we will tame inflation and we will create a country that works for all of us. With this, corruption will be taken care of, because a lot of the reasons why people turn a blind eye to the corrupt politicians when they come to lie to us during election cycles is because they are hoping that some good will come from them, despite the fact that the generality of the population of Nigeria are suffering and hungry. Don't let it be business as usual in 2024. Fellow Nigerians, I am appealing to you. Legislators, I am appealing to you. President Tinubu, I am appealing to you. Yes, the elections have come and gone. Many of us may not have voted for you, but what we desire is a Nigeria that works for everybody. And we cannot hold on and stand by and watch people die of hunger just simply because we want to wait for 2027. No. Between now and that time, people who may die, we want them to live, because food is the only thing that can keep them alive. So let every hand be on deck to make sure that this free food stamp and social welfare law is enacted. We all have a part to play. This is not the time for us to act selfishly and thinking, oh, this regime will favor me. The way it is, this administration of Tinubu cannot favor everybody, because the monies are in the hands of a few, while the majority of the populations are groaning in hunger and poverty. The only way that Nigeria works for everybody, yes, everybody, is for us to enact this free food stamp and social welfare law. The law benefits both the rich and the poor. It benefits the rich in the sense that the number of dependents you have will be reduced, because you don't have to spend your own hard-earned money on the so many dependents that you have. All the account details that are sent to you will reduce, and it will benefit the poor because you don't have to depend on the largesse, the nicety of a few rich people for you to get food to eat. Because most of the time when you send them your account details, it's not 100% guaranteed that they will respond positively to you. So this law takes away the probability from you getting food to eat. It takes away that probability, and it makes sure that Nigeria works for everybody. We all have a job to play. This is a New Year resolution that you must engage in. This is it. Any other thing, we are asking for the same old order to continue. And we cannot continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result. This is the time for us to change Nigeria. What are you going to do? Check the description for the document and contribute your own quota. May God bless you. May God bless Nigeria.